All right, next one is velocity versus command. What wins long term?
Yeah, both. They both do. Shoot, I think if you can do both, like you have like a really good pitcher. I mean, hopefully, shoot, I try to have all of our guys do that. I think our biggest, actually our staff's biggest like broad thing before going into expected numbers, XWOBA, this, that, and the other, it's like strikeout percentage to walk percentage. If we're over 12.5% for the year, we're I think the best in the country last year was like North Greenville, I want to say. They were at like 15%. I would say if we're at 12.5%, that's our expectation. If we get to 15%, we're the best. Um, so the strikeout to walk percentage matters, and I think both of those contribute to that right there.
I think
Sorry,
there
I didn't
too.
I didn't give you the cool
No,
answer
no,
that
no,
you're
that's
hoping.
fine. But most people would say one or the other. So it's cool to have your take of like both. Obviously, both is always going to be the better pitcher, but it's like what you brought up is more important to me because it's like think about when we played, right? What was the always the saying as a pitching staff? More Ks, less walks. That hasn't changed in I don't know how many years, right? But it's like now you have all this data to help you on the back end be like, all right, this is why we're getting more Ks, or this is
Exactly.
why we're getting more walks. And like you
Yeah,
said, to your point there is like I don't know what your guys' staff's numbers were last year, but I'm sure they're better this year because you've implemented a thing that they didn't have. And that's where I think that the TrackMan and all these different things, data wise, help kids essentially that not are clueless, but are guys that want to learn that didn't have a plan in place to learn.
yeah. I think contrary to popular belief, just screaming "Let's strike out more guys and walk less" doesn't work. Like that, just say the simple act of that just doesn't work. So, yeah, I mean, man, to elicit like unique properties, like I talked about vertical approach angle as one of them, whether it's steep or whether it's flat, it's like you have to have command to do that. Like Jamie Arnold could be a bad pitcher at Florida State if he's throwing all of his fastballs to the bottom of the zone. Like, but luckily you have a Micah Posey who's smart enough to be like, hey, let's miss elevated here. Let's flatten this angle versus like we have a Nick Rainey who threw for us yesterday, who's like a very vertical release guy, and it's like, hey, we have to angle all of our fastballs to create as close to 6, 7 degrees of -6, -7 degrees of vertical approach angle as possible, just to create any angle that's away from 5 degrees and get away from hitters' attack angles. So you don't want to meet, like, think about what you thought about as a hitter all the time. You thought about matching the plane of the pitcher's fastball or breaking ball, whatever it is, and we just try to oppose that.
All right, diving in the last question on pitching development. If a 15-year-old pitcher came to you and said, "I want to play college baseball," what would be your step-by-step plan?
Yeah, shoot, I Bo has two kids who are around that age right now, and I'm like, dude, why don't you ever think about putting on 20 pounds? So, I think everybody who's on our staff who gets considerable innings and like throws with decent velocity or has physicality, like even all of our freshmen who are around, pitching at this point, they're all minimum, like I'd say 195 at this point. I'd say just like you have to be physical to be in the conversation. Like unless you were doing something so unique at 175 pounds, like I think it's really tough to do it. Like we do have a guy who's about a buck 80 for us who dominates, but he's not a high velocity guy. It's just like super unique arm angle, things like that. And like, God bless him. Like, he found something that worked for him, and we were able to elicit like some unique properties for him so he could dominate. But um, yeah, I'd say like man, I go into the calf and like eat with the guys sometimes, and like our captain who is our closer right now, like I'll have a piece of chicken on my plate, and he'll be like, "Why is that not 5 pieces of chicken? Like you're sub 100 grams of protein at lunch today. Like what's wrong with you?" And yeah, we do have that like eat big, like be big, throw hard mentality, and then we backtrack from there. And obviously, there's other pieces to it, but like if that's something you can control, like you got to do it.